Hey, good morning, Advantage members. What's going on? So it's Monday, December 4th. I want to do a quick market update, but then mostly focus my time on the Sol trading bot that I've been talking about, just because I feel like we need to we need to provide more time and discussion to what's happening in the Solana ecosystem rather than the market at large, just because, Solana is clearly exploding. Obviously, the whole market is exploding, but anyway, let's get to it real quick. All right, first things first, real quick price action update, right? We see now a move out of this consolidation. Generally, the way I measure the moves is if you see this is the large consolidation structure and this is the overall pennant that was building, the breakout move from here is approximately a $42,000 target, right? And that's just this area right here, okay? So we have that target that just hit, which was approximately a 10% move from 38K now up to about 42K, okay? Now, when we start drawing out to the daily and weekly levels, the market basically looks very, very good, meaning that, on a weekly basis, I think we have probably a little bit higher to go. I don't know how high, but I'd probably figure somewhere, I don't know, like somewhere around there, 45, 48K up here is where the prices could go for BTC easily. The other way to measure the market is, fib levels, right? We've talked about this before. From high to the low right here, we came back in 2019. I don't know if you guys were around in 2019, but I was. I remember this entire move. So I actually joined crypto in about mid to late 2016. Sorry, right here. And I remember this parabolic move, and I was just in awe of what was happening. But I was also in awe of how fast this thing was dumping, because at this point, I legitimately did not know if I was part of this massive pump and dump garbage, cryptocurrency, or if this thing is really going to be around for the future, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I was fully confident back here that we were going to be up here or up here, 5-6 years later. Right. But what I did know was this was something unique that we were all getting into, in 2016, 2017 days. And I remember talking to people back then. Some people just were in it for the money. Obviously, a lot of us are still in it for the money, but others were hardcore believers that this thing is basically the next, currency of the world. And by 2017 or 2018, we're going to be on a Bitcoin standard money and the dollar was going to go to zero, some crap like that. Anyway, the point is narratives change with prices, right? And back then when we had this and then this, the only thing to me was, buying down here because things were extremely cheap. And you can go back on my YouTube feed or maybe even like, Twitter. More importantly, like in my Discord is pretty much where I was the most active. And I used to talk about, buying in little small chunks back here in the capitulation period. I started buying early. Like I think I started buying at 47, 4,800, and I bought all the way down to about maybe 3,500. And just because I had no idea if this thing was going to go like this, right? And then I stopped buying for a while, and then I rebought somewhere back here around 5.5, 6K. So my average was here, here, and here, right? And then I took a bunch of profits up here. I nailed this tip top. And then I also nailed this drop right here, okay? But I didn't foresee this squeeze, but I did see this drop down, and then I played this perfectly too. So the point is that the reason I'm mentioning this is markets have a tendency to, have these parabolic moves within larger cycles, right? This in and of itself was like a massive 3.5 to 4 year consolidation period. This could also be somewhat similar that we may be dealing with right now. But the reality is from this high to this low and back up, you see that we tagged the 618 fib. So if we do the same thing right here, which is the high to the low, and tagging somewhere close to the 618 fib. Why the 618? They call it the golden pocket, 618 to 65%. Golden pocket basically means that is generally the place where the counter trend movements induce the most amount of FOMO, if you will, right? So I remember back here, the most amount of FOMO was induced literally at the tippy top. I would figure the same thing is going to happen here, which is, tippy top around 48, 50K. That's where the most amount of FOMO is probably going to be for BTC and for crypto, right? So for the most part, what I see happening in the market right now is what I basically saw happening here in 18 and 19. I see BTC pretty much leading the market, pushing up continuously and probably hitting that 48 to 50K marker. And then more importantly, and this is where, we need to discuss a little bit more, things like Solana. Now, I remember back in the 2018, 2019 days, Ethereum was really the main play, right? Everything else was really just a garbage shitcoin that didn't really have any use case. But now the ecosystems have evolved. Ethereum has evolved. Solana has evolved. Solana brings about its own use case, its speed, its its own user base, and its own sort of reason for existence, possibly even taking over some of the market cap of Ethereum, right? So Ethereum currently sitting at 267 billion, and Solana barely, sits at 1/10 of that. That should tell you that Solana has actually the most ceiling to capture between 25 and this 267. And that means that we start then looking for opportunities within Solana, which is, the Solana ecosystem. Currently, Solana has barely 675 million in TVL versus Ethereum that has approximately 28 billion. Again, that's a factor of over like 40x or something, right? Don't quote me on the math, but it's pretty damn close to that, right? So, what that tells me is the opportunities within Solana are going to be massive, maybe in the coming weeks, maybe in the coming months. But just remember that the market is going to go through many sharp up and down cycles, pullbacks, brutal 2 to 3 month, bear markets, just as things happened back here in 2018 and 19 of BTC, right? We had this big, massive up move, sharp pullback, fake out, massive dump. And then finally, after this top, almost a year and a half, 2 years later, then we had this parabolic move. Okay. I see similar things kind of happening with Solana, which is that as of right now, I see the market still in the midst of its own local uptrend. If you were to ask me, where do I see Solana in the coming few weeks? Well, I'd probably say somewhere around, 80 to 100, maybe as high as $128, somewhere up here. Is it possible that this is literally the top and from here we're just going to go down? Yeah, it's possible. But I mean, it's December. Things are pretty bullish right now. Money's pouring in. Jupiter just had its airdrop. I think there's just, more and more FOMO to induce and more money to come in and rip these prices higher. And for that reason, I don't really believe that we're at the top now. I do think that there will be probably, some really nasty shakeouts. Like Solana could just do boom, 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 like that. And most people are going to get shaken out. They're going to say, oh, well, this thing's going to start dropping like this and like this. But that may not be the case, right? There's just going to be too many buyers in the market to gobble this up and rip it higher easily back to 80 or $100. That's a pretty easy play. Now, diving to the Solana ecosystem, right? I've talked about this a bunch of times. So first of all, Bird Eye is probably the place to go. This is the place where I do a lot of research. I look at first of all, I like to pay attention to whales, and I like to pay attention to different assets, right, within Solana. So trending tokens here right now, as you can see, Bonk, clearly Bonk has gone bonkers, right? And then of course, I like to look at the biggest traders. How are they doing? Big traders, what are they buying? What are they selling? How much? What size? When do they rotate, et cetera, right? So this is the best place to go, birdeye.so. Now, I have just a few things on my watch list. Number one, STBOT. That's probably the biggest play that I believe is underrated in Solana. And more importantly, things like Pumper, which is basically a token listing platform, kind of like we used to have launch pads like Binance had, or the ICO craze or whatever, right? But Pumper is trying to be that for Solana. This thing, absolute trash. Thank God I didn't touch it. TradeBot IC. I had mentioned it in yesterday's video, in my STBOT video, but I also said that you probably want to do your research. And more importantly, I titled my video STBOT, or Solana Trading Bot, for the last 4 or 5 days. And guess what? Every time I've talked about it, the market cap has been continuously going higher, and the team, Solana Trading Bot team, continues to ship out more updates, more products, more opportunities for things like referral rewards, holder rewards, more features within their Solana Trading Bot. And basically, their activity and their openness to discuss things makes me excited and happy that, this is kind of the area, for example, Telegram bots, and specifically Solana Trading Bot, is where I want to focus on, because I fundamentally believe that, first of all, Telegram is going to be the place where there's just a cohort of people just sitting there idly, right? Telegram has 700 million users, of which I think close to 100 to 150 million have crypto awareness, they call it, which means either they've traded crypto, they actively trade crypto, or they're aware of crypto, right? That's huge. That TAM, total addressable market, just within Telegram, of 100 to 150 million people, right, coming to trade altcoins via Telegram bots, via Sol Trading Bot in Solana, is massive. I think all of Solana will benefit, by the way, right? Solana as a whole ecosystem will benefit. But, tokens that are tradable right through a trading bot like Solana Trading Bot benefits the most, because the activity is actually going through Sol Trading Bot. So that means a hyper usage activity, growth for STBOT, and just overall, revenue share, overall price growth, token growth for things like STBOT. So that's my overall thesis. Now, again, I still watch a bunch of these other tokens. I might have to get rid of this stupid thing right here, because clearly it sucks, this TradeBot thing. So please don't pay attention to this one. Again, STBOT is probably my main focus right now. Okay, I've talked about this before, and I'll say it again. If you type in STBOT or Sol Trading Bot, Telegram bots on Solana, whatever keywords that you want to use here, I'm probably one of the only people still talking about it. And I'm not even that, popular or famous. Like, I don't really get that much engagement. I'm a very small, shrimp compared to all the bigger influencers. I barely talk about projects, that I buy or sell or trade or whatever. I mostly do it in my private Discord community. But other than that, that's it. We barely have 30, 40 people in our Discord. But on YouTube, if I'm the only person talking about it, that means that we are super early to the fact that the bigger influencers haven't even caught on. Because the thing is, like, influencers generally just catch on when prices have already exploded, right? They're basically the last people to shill you, because they want to unload their bags. What I'm presenting to you is an opportunity of something that trades right now at a 600 market cap valuation. And I've talked about this literally for 4 or 5 days now, right? 4 or 5 days we've spoken about this, and Solana Trading Bot has continuously risen from the lows that I spoke about, around 150 to 300K, now to 650K. It was up to $1 million right here in market cap. But again, to me, that's still not enough, because guess what? The things that we're comparing them to are the ETH parallel Telegram bots, like Unibot, which again sits at a $61 million market cap value, right? Banana Gun, which is the other Telegram bot on Solana, sits at a $40 million valuation. And I'm talking about a piddly 650 market cap. So you could see the opportunity for growth, not only for Solana at large, because I've talked about this before, right? Again, Ethereum, 28 billion, Solana, 675 million. Like if you think Solana's gonna eat some of the market cap of Ethereum, which sits at 266 billion versus Solana's, small 25 billion, even if let's just say Solana doubles from here, which is 50 billion, that's still, what is that, 1/5 or 1/6 of Ethereum's market cap value. That's huge. 25 billion added in Solana is basically a massive, massive bull market for Solana ecosystem coins. There's going to be so much activity, growth, new projects, new narratives, new theses that will come up on Solana that it will bring even a ton of Ethereum traders or even Bitcoin traders, Cardano traders, all other ecosystem traders onto Solana, because they'll realize, well, Solana is where the growth is. That's where the builders are. It's a much faster, cheaper, better chain than ETH. So we're all going to focus our energy, time, and money to Solana. I think that's how I see the growth coming about for Solana and Sol ecosystem over the next, month or two. Okay. Again, none of this is investment advice, right? I'm telling you guys to do your own research, but I'm also telling you that, in my own research, I've found a few plays that are so easy and obvious. Like I said, Pumper, STBOT especially, that just seem like easy trades to me. And I don't see any other way other than the market as a whole nuking. This seems to me like a pretty easy trade, Now digging into STBOT real quick, and I'm going to wrap it up here, right? This is a pretty easy market to look at on Bird Eye. I like to look at the whales, right? Because what I see from the whales is there's, some of them are selling, right? But there's also a big whale that's kind of buying too. 92 sold buy, and this person bought 5.65 million tokens. But guess what? 5.65 million tokens of the float, which is a billion tokens, that's not that much, right? That's 0.5%, if I'm not mistaken. Dumping 0.5% of the value of tokens, and prices are still elevated. This thing is not nuked or shit the bed. That's good. You also have a couple of whales selling. But again, it's not completely nuking the price. So it makes me pretty, happy and excited that I see the market still relatively moving. Still pretty active market. You still have buyers buying, sellers selling. That is what creates a good market. Okay. If we saw, let's just say, all buyers continuously buying, I would be a little bit paranoid. I would say, I think we're maybe coming to a blow off top. But we see very healthy dynamics of both buying and selling in this market. And that is what's going to create, in my opinion, a very steady uptrend in STBOT, which I personally see, going much, much higher. Again, not investment advice, just my thoughts on the market. Okay. Anyway, if y'all have any questions, right, find me on Twitter. I talk a lot about markets. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm very involved in projects like Sen. I'm pretty involved in the venture capital community too. I have a lot of conversations with founders from Ethereum to founders from Solana. So if you ever have any questions of where you think the space is going, or you want to just discuss projects and narratives, etc., let me know. Okay, happy to chat. And our YouTube Discord link is below. You can join our Advantage community, and I hope to see y'all real soon. Okay, all right. Cheers, everybody. Take care.